Now, researchers studying the link between a brain disease caused by repeated blows to the head in American football have made a startling discovery.
They examined the brains of 202 former high school, college and pro players and found CTE, or chronic traumatic encephalopathy, in 177 cases.
And what's even more alarming, of the 111 former NFL players examined, all but one had the disease. CTE leads to memory loss, difficult thinking, as well as aggression. Here's CNN's Sanjay Gupta with more.
And when you hear those numbers, there's no question that it's concerning. You know, you hear the headline that says 99% of professional football players have evidence of this CTE, this chronic traumatic encephalopathy. And what I would tell you is that it is concerning. I think this is the largest study that's been done, and it's looked at lots of players. But one thing I do want to give a little context here, and that is whenever a study like this is performed, there may be people who are concerned that they have symptoms. And as a result, they go to their doctors and eventually get their brains examined after they die. So it's kind of what they call a selected group here. And so they're more likely to have actually had CTE. But even with that, even if you say, okay, well, there are a lot of players out there who are totally fine, never have a problem, even if every other player in the NFL did not have CTE, this would still be a significant number, 110 players who do have evidence of this. What we can say is that we know more about this disease than ever before. We know what causes it, repetitive blows to the head, and we know what it can lead to. You know, all these behavioral and mood problems and shortened life in many of these players as well. So something we're definitely going to keep following.
Let's have more on the story. Anthony Toll joins us now. He's the founder of the Aspire Sports Group. He's also a sports agent and lawyer. Anthony, thank you very much for coming into the show to talk to us about this. I wanted to get your take first on this report. What does it actually mean for the players that you represented, the stories that you've heard?
Well, I think it's I think it's going to be a very detrimental blow to the brand of the NFL. I mean, this will affect players on the Pop Warner level, players in college, and I think a lot of soccer moms aren't going to want their kids playing football anymore. So there's going to be a long-term effect. Once we see the numbers, how staggering these numbers are, it kind of sets up a possibility where the NFL brand could be permanently damaged. So I think that's what pops out to me when I first read.
Are you talking about lawsuits as well? Was that what you mean?
Absolutely, there'll be potential more lawsuits, and what the NFL is facing now is the fact that they settled a lot of these lawsuits, but they never disclosed whether or not there was any evidence as to that they knew this.
With regard to the study, and I guess, you know, whether or not it is, you know, what it means legally, the criticism is, or the observations have been made, that the study was pretty limited. The brains were donated from concerned family members. It wasn't a random study, if you like. So it's kind of skewed, and they say it's circumstantial evidence. It seems overwhelming circumstantial evidence, but it's still circumstantial.
Yeah, well, I think because of the numbers are so dramatic here, 99, I mean 110 out of 111, I think it's hard to argue that it's just circumstantial. We have pretty much direct evidence, and this is going all the way back to, you know, players who played, players on the Pop Warner level. I mean, players who played in high school, they found a high level of CTE, or at least symptoms of CTE that's going to probably come about later on in their lifetime. So with that being so prevalent at that young of an age, and now we see how it's done to the NFL players, I think circumstantially it's more direct.
Well, Anthony, the NFL had this to say, if we can bring it up. The medical and scientific communities will benefit from this publication. The NFL will continue to work with a wide range of experts to improve the health of current and former NFL athletes. And it noted that there are still many unanswered questions relating to the cause, incidence and prevalence of long-term effects of head trauma such as CTE. I mean, in 2016, the NFL, you know, this acknowledged a connection between football and CTE. So hearing this now from NFL, I mean, how do you feel? I want to get a sense from your clients or people you represent. How worried are they about this?
Well, I think they're very worried about it. And from athletes that I've represented, they're very worried about it because, like I said, a lot of them have been playing for years. That statement by the NFL, it kind of is a statement that you would expect because it's leaving open the argument that they could come back later and say, well, it's not 100% sure that those head traumas is the cause of CTE. But now that the evidence is just becoming so overwhelming, I think it's devastating. And from talking to players and players that I've worked with, they're very worried about it, and it's going to have a strong effect on the league. I believe.
The NFL, they put aside what, $100 million for research related to concussion and injuries, concussion injuries. That seems to be chump change for the world's richest sporting franchise. What was revenue last year? $12 billion.
Yes.
I mean, what are they? I guess the question here is, are they doing enough? And clearly, they need to do a lot more.
No, they're not. One thing you have to remember is the NFL is a owners league.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is the owners pretty much run the league. The NBA and the Major League Baseball are players' league. There's guaranteed contracts with Major League Baseball and National Basketball Association, NFL. There's no guaranteed contracts. So that same psychology and that same mentality went into this settlement. Obviously, the judge had to reverse this, or at least have them go back and get more, because she even thought it was too small of a settlement. And remember that a lot of the lawyer fees ate up a lot of the money that the players were to receive.
And this is just for research, but I guess the big thing, the thing that people love about the NFL are the big hits. They love when the big guys crack together. You hear this now, that's what the game is all about, and that's what people love. If they stop doing that, the game's over, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's what the NFL loves. They love the big hits. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to teach these younger kids how to hit safety from here to here. I don't know if it's going to work, but it's the only option that they might have left.
Yeah, we're interested to see if it hurts the NFL, if it hurts the allure of the NFL, whether the mothers will put in their children through this. I mean, we'll see.
That's something that we're going to have to see as time goes by. I know the NFL is trying to implement safe rules and trying to teach safety in terms of, like you were just saying, on the younger age, but I still think that because this study is so profound and because the numbers are so staggering, I think this is a very blow to the brand of the NFL.
Yeah, well,
and of course, there's other concerns about hockey and other sports too, which have big head injuries like this as well. So this isn't just about football. Right. Anthony, thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.